And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at this game here, which has the actual title of this game, not the Russian title, is Costa, Ruana. And this is a game in which it's kind of like an area control. You're sending out natives to islands to get treasure. You're going to be doing that by card play, in which you're going to be playing cards trying to get things done. But what might happen in this game is the cards you play might be worthless depending if you play them at the wrong time. Not the wrong time, the wrong color. You'll see. Now the goal of this game is to get the most points, and you're going to get points at the end of the game. Each treasure you have is going to be worth 2 points, and each dude that you have that's not on an island is worth a point. Now players have this little volcano here, which is, it starts out as a flat, comes in a box like this, and you're just going to pop it in here. And this is to keep how many treasures you have during the game secret. So when you get a treasure, you just take it and drop it into the volcano. Ooh! In front here, we have a certain number of islands, and that number depends on how many players are playing the game. So you're going to play with all the islands if you're playing with a 6-player game. You also have 2 cards here for high tide, low tide, and day and night. So 2 of them will be face up like this. So blue and green, essentially. And these corners just show you that the other sides are purple and yellow. You're going to put a certain number of treasures on the island, and players are going to get a chance to play some of their dudes, natives on the island. At the beginning of the game, you get 3 of those out there. Now, the way that each game works is that players are going to be playing cards from a deck of cards. Players are going to be drawing from this deck of cards, and it's going to show all different things here. You'll notice that the cards are color-coded, but they will basically, cards will let you add natives to an island. This will let you add 2 to an island. Some of them will make people take natives away from an island. Some will let you move a native from one island to another island. Some will let you move a treasure chest from one island to another island. So what you're going to do is there's going to be 3 rounds, and each player is going to play cards. They can play them in front of themselves or in front of somebody else. You'll play some face up, some face down, and then each person can put a native on one of the cards, and it will copy whatever that card is. So you can copy your own cards, or you can copy someone else's cards. Then, whoever is the tribal chief, now they have this pretty cool looking totem here, that person can flip one of the cards. So maybe I'll flip the purple one. So now it's purple instead of green. So let's say these 2 cards were in front of me. Well, only this card is going to go off. This card is not going to go off. Or maybe in a really bad situation, these are the cards that are in front of me. Yellow and green, neither one of them would go off. So we start with the first player, and they do the cards in front of them, which might be adding more people to an island, moving a treasure from one island to another, moving a person from one island to another, or having to return people back to your stock. If someone else puts their guy on a card, they will also take that action after the person who the card is in front of takes their actions. Once all the actions are taken, we check each island. If there's a majority on an island, so here blue has this island, he gets a treasure. He also has to remove a blue. Orange gets a treasure, removes an orange. White gets a treasure, removes a white. White gets a treasure, removes a white. Brown gets a treasure, removes a brown. Nobody. Brown gets a treasure, removes a brown. Now let's say on this island there were 2 blues, 2 browns, and a white. There's a tie for first place, 2 blues and 2 browns. So neither one of them gets it. Instead, white gets it. Let's say next turn there's 2 blues and 2 browns. Again, it's a tie, so nobody gets it. At the end of a round, you'll take all the treasures that you've got for that round, put them in your volcano. Whoever got the least treasures gets the totem for the next turn, although they can pick somebody else to do that. Players will draw new cards from the deck, and another round continues. You keep doing that until 5 rounds have been played, and then whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. The initial concept for this is pretty cool. I like the fact that I can play a yellow card, knowing full well that the person in charge may or may not flip the card to yellow, or if it is yellow, might flip it to blue on the other side. But, I mean, there's some logic to that. So, for example, let's say I have the tribal thing, and in front of me I play a 2 yellow, where I'm going to get to put 2 more people out there. Someone else will say, well, I guess I can play a yellow card too, because there's no way he will cancel it. At the same time, they might play a return 3 of your natives, -3 in front of me, that's also yellow. Well, now I'm sitting there going, I guess I'll cancel yellow, but that will cancel my card. And then where to put your meeple, you might not have a good hand of cards, but you can at least guess at one other person. And so it's interesting, there's no guarantee that any card will go off, although there's a kind of guarantee if, I have a bunch of yellow cards that are good in front of me, then I'm probably going to flip it to yellow. So that's kind of interesting on how that works, and I like that. The area majority thing is simple. I like how when there's a tie, whoever's in second place gets it. That just cracks me up. There is a limit of 7 people on per island, but that rarely comes into effect anyway because so many of the cards throw people off the island. So the whole thing is good. The components are nice. It's a simple game. It felt a little out of my control many times, especially the more players you add. The more players you add, the bigger chance people are going to play negative cards on you, nothing you can do about. The cards you put in front of you, you're hoping they work. You go to an island, someone else goes there. There's some strategy in the game, but it's super light. And it can be frustrating many times when you move here to an island that maybe you'll only get 1 treasure per turn, but someone else got 0, so they get to decide what happens first next turn. So you kind of, getting 1 treasure each turn is not the way to win the game. I like it. The artwork is silly, but functional. The meeples and treasures, your typical generic components, and the volcanoes. I do like that. I like keeping my treasures secretly in the cone of wonderfulness. But as a whole, it's kind of a forgettable game. Has a cool concept, the flipping of cards, activating things, and I wouldn't mind seeing that utilized again in the future. But it's not bad, but there's just better area control games out there. Dice Tower Judgment. Okay.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!